45 minutes ago, Governor Newsom came out and gave his, basically, it was supposed to be kind of a victory speech. I mean, it's hard to declare victory when somebody's trying to kick you out of office, and you actually got to survive that. But one of the things that he was talking about was unity and trying to bring people together who have different political feelings. So let's go to KRON 4's Dan Thorn. He's at the Democratic Party headquarters in Sacramento, where the governor spoke a short time ago. And Dan joins us with more. Dan.
Yeah, Ken, the governor here not in a celebratory mood. He definitely looked and had the demeanor of a man that was glad that this recall election is over. Of course, he did express to the voters out there that rejected this recall that he was humble and thankful for them. But in terms of any discussions about election rigging, which has been brought up by his closest competitor, Larry Elder, the conservative radio talk show host, he again blasted those, any accusations of that, same as he did this morning in San Francisco. The governor also taking no questions tonight, but again, he was expressing this idea of unity among Californians. He pointed out the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, referring to his influence when it comes to election rigging and just his influence in general on the Republican Party, and into what he called Trumpism, which he said is pretty much a driving force for pulling people apart from each other, not only here in California, but across the country. So pointing out again just the strong influence that the former president has on where the Republican Party is going. The governor really just hoping that people take away here tonight that he will be in office. We were not going to be looking at any sort of elections coming up until 2022. But in the meantime, the governor is going to continue the work that he's doing. We were not able to ask him any questions about what this might change, what he might be thinking outside of just what the results were tonight. Of course, we're probably not going to hear from him anymore tonight. At least we've been informed that we probably won't hear from him anymore tonight, but we will see what he has to say maybe over the next couple of days. And of course, we just heard earlier that it seems like Larry Elder is not going to go away without putting up a fight. He, of course, getting a lot of attention out of this situation, but the governor seemed like somebody that just wanted to move on after what's happened here tonight.
All right, Dan Thorn, live for us in Sacramento.